Here.
Bridget,
Here.
Lori,
Here.
Rick,
Here.
Chad,
Here.
Kelly, Whitney,
All right, moving on, 1B, agenda adoption. Are there any changes to this agenda?
No.
Motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
Thank you. Karen?
Bridget,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes. All right, 1C, district vision and mission. Do I have a volunteer? Anybody?
I'll do it.
Rick?
Southeast Polk Community School District will learn, lead, and live. Success for college, career, and civic life. Engage all students in learning a challenging curriculum. Delivered through quality instruction.
All right, thank you. Will you please stand for the pledge of allegiance? Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, now's the time. We'll open it up for public comments. If you'd like to make a comment, you can come up to the podium. You have 3 minutes as an individual, 5 minutes as a group. Looks like right now the only one I have is Tony Thompson. I'll just state your name again and address for the record.
I'm Tony Thompson. I live over by Elkhart, Iowa. And I'm here tonight to introduce myself, just to say thank you for the work that you do. And that introduce myself as a candidate running for the State House in House District 45. So that's the outer parts of Polk County. It covers several of the elementaries, probably about 75% of the geography of Southeast Polk, and probably a fraction of the population. But just real quick, I graduated from North Polk way back when. My kids are at North Polk now. I'm a big fan of public schools, big supporter of public schools. I won't just say it, I will support public schools. I got my PhD in mechanical engineering, and I appreciated hearing civics in the mission statement. I think that's something we hear a lot about college and career prep, and that's fantastic. The civics piece is something that I think we need more of in our we need more civic engagement. We need more political discourse that's polite and engaging and reaching out. And that's part of why I'm here. I just want to understand better what's going on around us. And so I appreciate the opportunity to do that. And I would ask for your help in helping me to motivate the middle as we move forward in an election season. So happy to talk more later on. I just thank you for allowing me to be here and see the good work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you. If there's anybody else that would like to? Seeing none? Nobody? Okay. 1F consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Thank you. Karen?
Lori,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Bridget,
Yes.
Moving on to 2A, confirmation of next meeting, which is October 13th and October 17th.
3rd and 17th.
Third, what did I say?
13.
13th? Yeah, I'm getting old, people. October 3rd and 17th. Any
At least you are.
issues with those dates?
No, motion to approve.
Second.
All right, Karen?
Rick,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Bridget,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
All right, 2B, this is for the modified allowable growth for the limited English proficiency. I have a motion.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Second.
Thank you.
Kevin is online if anybody has any questions.
Since he came all this way, should we ask him a question? Kevin, what do you got to say for yourself? Why aren't you here?
Mr. Handy, I am off-site learning in my professional learning communities at a conference.
All right, any questions for Kevin? Why?
We'll take him at his word.
All right, thanks.
Yes.
Thanks, Kevin. Enjoy your learning. All right, hearing none. Vote. We have first. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Second.
Oh, Lori. All right, Karen.
Chad,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Bridget,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
All right, 2C, this is for modified allowable growth for special education.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Chad did say it. We have our answer there in 22-23. We have a 2.6 special education deficit. We'd asked that question earlier.
Or 6 million.
Yeah.
Any questions for Mr. McCollum since he's still here?
Keep learning, Kevin.
All right, Karen?
Brett,
Yes.
Bridget,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
All right, 2D, this is for approval of the guaranteed maximum price and administration and support services building renovation project. I think you have some stuff at your table.
Is that this? Is that what this is?
Yes.
Yep. Can I get a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Chad, thank you. Any questions for administration?
Can I get an updated floor plan? I don't think we've had one that I could understand since last year.
Yeah.
So can we get an updated floor plan on that?
President Handy, if I could.
Sure.
I just wanted to, this process is our first construction project that's underneath the Construction Manager at Risk program. Similar to the middle school program, White's as the construction manager, we dealt with White's and we also had all the prime contractors on agreements as well. In this CMAR process, Hanson Company is who we have the agreement with. Hanson Company has their own agreements with all the contractors on the job. So if there are issues with any of the contractors, it's not the district that handles those issues. It will be Hanson Company that handles those issues. I believe Jason Jones with Hanson Company is in the boardroom, and he can also answer any kind of questions if you might have those in detail about the contracts that you see there or the pricing that you see there.
So they're asking for the floor plan? Or you?
I'll get you a floor plan.
Okay. I don't have any questions, Jason.
No, but I'm gonna point out something. Jason's a Southeast Polk graduate, 1990 graduate, so he has an interest in this, so that'll be great to have him on board for, he knows a little bit about Southeast Polk. Just a little bit.
Yes. Thank you for that.
Any questions for Jason? All right. All right, Karen?
Bridget,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes. All right, 2E, this is agreement with the Heartland Area Education Agency for information services.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Any questions, comments?
Yeah, you go first.
I just. This is a huge thing for all of us with that, what's happening at Heartland and the fact we have to hire them back. Most of my career as a special ed teacher was dealing with Heartland so much, and I just hope we can maintain the quality services that we have in the past. I know that's intent, and I just little anxiety as I see something in this document. Looks like we can hire them for what we need them, which is great. Just I thought everything was good before. Let's go ahead and worry.
My comment was, I believe this is gonna cost us more money than it did in prior years before they were broken up into parts. Is that correct? Or
I'll let Kevin to this. This is a little bit different because it's not something that we would normally do with them.
Yes, excuse me, Ms. Lings and Mr. Powell. The service agreement that you see there is specifically for assistance with the accounting systems and our attachment systems in writing reports. We in the accounting department aren't great report writers, but we are great in Excel spreadsheets. We pull a lot of the data into Excel, we manipulate that data, and we get things in formats in which are readable to the audience. For example, I shared this with Ms. Ernst. The monthly financial reports I provide to you, it doesn't come out like that from the accounting system. There's quite a bit of manipulation and formatting that makes it look pretty. their assistance will help me make those reports look pretty. That plus they can also assist us with some of the interfacing between our different systems so that we can get reports that are more effective for us and what we're trying to get to as far as sharing data with folks. So the rate that you see there with the AEA rate is actually a rate that they've used prior to any sort of AEA legislation with districts in the metro area. I wanted to bring this to the board's attention because of the fact that the legislation has changed, and just to highlight that we are choosing, should we choose to use these services, the AEA at the rate that they've established.
Have we used them for, we haven't used them for this before.
We have not.
And so why are we using them?
So we have not, the AEA flow through money, as kind of alluded to, 60% of those funds the district will retain and will be able to use and purchase services underneath the media realm. This agreement is just in place in case we need to use them, just to document that agreement with them and to be able to use those AEA media services monies.
So Kevin, is it accurate to say that there's 40% that flows through to the AEA that we would start with? And then once those funds are used, then we would start using the 60%?
Yeah, this particular agreement, they wouldn't help. This sort of agreement isn't part of any flow through service. This is separate. This is absolute separate. I just wanted to share again this agreement so that if we do use it, we can use that 60% of the AEA flow through money that would have gone to them otherwise. With the legislation, we can choose to buy services from whatever agencies. The AEA just so happens to be the service provider from a system standpoint for Des Moines schools, Johnston schools, and West Des Moines in support of their accounting system, of which Power School is the accounting system. We have Power School as well, so there is some familiarity with Power Schools with those three districts and us, so we can utilize some of their economies of learning on their side.
Okay, so it's not part of, like, there's the 40%, it's for education and media services. This isn't part of that. This is something.
Correct.
Any other questions?
No. We covered it.
Guess we'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. This is for 1 year, right?
Correct. And I'm not saying that we will use them. I just wanted to establish that if we did, we had this in front of you.
When we do, I look forward to seeing a report
Okay.
dated by them. See what we get for our money.
All right, Karen,
Lori,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Brett,
yes.
Bridget,
Yes.
Okay, 3A Superintendent's Report.
Thank you. Good evening, board. Some good news and highlights from the last month. This week, we had the luncheon for the Prairie Meadows Community Impact Grants. We're lucky to have this resource literally in our backyard. Had several Southeast Polk schools and groups that received, I think 11 total, received grants through this process. And probably the largest ticket was the legacy grant for the skilled trades building. So very thankful for that. The district office bid process has gone very well, as you just learned a little bit more about tonight and just approved. Want to make sure that we underline that was significantly under budget, under what we thought we would be looking at. So that we rarely get to say that at this table, so I have to say it again. So middle school grand opening last Saturday, thanks to all who came out. It was a really nice morning and fun to celebrate with the community. I think there was just everything about that was just kind of a really nice morning. Since our last meeting, we've had the Channel 13 RV TV out at Mitchellville that gave them a chance to show off their community and in particular, including Southeast Polk schools as well. So that was a nice evening. Next week, it's homecoming already. The parade is a week from tonight. We'll be 15 minutes away from Gary Haynes starting the engine and moving us along the parade route a week from tonight. Hall of Honor on the 27th, next Friday in the high school auditorium at 5 p.m. As always, another fantastic class, Jay Elder, Joni Sloan, and the board's own Katie Temple will all be inducted in. Also, that night is the big Ram Bash, the Southeast Polk Education Foundation fundraiser, just between the stadium and the high school building before the game and kind of meshing there. And then obviously the homecoming game on next Friday, the 27th. Looking out to Saturday, October 5th at 6:30 at the Meadows Event Center is the Dollars for Scholars evening. And again, just wanted to put a plug for both the Big Ram Bash and Dollars for Scholars for people to get out there and support those two great institutions. I do want to finish with a few words about today. We had some disruption to a couple of schools today due to a rumor of a threat that was deemed by law enforcement to be non-credible. Even though this was the case, things like this still tend to spread fear through the community. And I want to thank our building leadership teams and local law enforcement for their partnership and their work and support in helping keep our schools safe. I also want to remind everyone that words matter. And there are many things concerning school safety that you cannot say without people taking them very seriously, no matter what the context or intent. I encourage everyone to reinforce with their students that if they hear or see something concerning, it's important to share that with a trusted adult rather than spreading or fueling rumors. In partnership with local law enforcement, we have a robust threat assessment and response process, and we take every threat to our students and staff seriously as their safety is our top priority. And with that, I'll be happy to answer questions.
One question I have is, can we get a copy of the grants that were awarded?
Yes.
To who and what their projects were? I don't think I ever saw that in my life.
Yeah, I don't think there's a list necessarily, but we can compile that and get it out.
Yeah.
Yep. You bet.
Anything else for Dr. Levin? Okay, moving on to business services report. Still there, Kevin?
I am, President Handy. Just a few things for me, just to let you know, we have gone through a federal audit report in regards to ESSER funds related to our fiscal year 2023 expenditures. That flash review, as turned by the federal auditors, is complete. We've seen the draft report. We haven't seen the full report yet. Just to remind the board that the state is the grantee of these funds, and we are a subrecipient of the state. So we'll have some discussions with the state. The state was on with our exit conference, and we have followed up with a few things with the state. We did have a couple of challenges regarding the findings that have been displayed to us, some of which when it came to PPE and sanitation type things, we used vendors that we've used in the past. They had an issue with that. They wanted to go quotes for those things. So just things that we've learned now that the federal auditors have a little bit more detail on what they want to see, but we certainly will learn from those comments that they present to us on a final form, and we present that report to you when it comes. As far as our regular audit of 6/30/24, the auditors will be on site here this fall, and we plan to have that complete still by the end of December of this year. Regarding the state compliance reports, with the annual transportation report, with Mr. Kretz as a new director, there was some, not to Mr. Kretz's fault, there's some challenges in getting some of the data we needed for that. We had some changeover with our routing system that we need to do. Some of the miles reported, et cetera. It was just a challenge getting those numbers and how we've done these things in the past. So we were able to get the transportation report submitted. From my discussions with Mr. Kretz, we are moving forward with a different routing system and moving away from the routing system that we have. It is the same company, it's just the upgraded version. So we'll start that immediately here. Regarding the special education supplement, you did see the special education supplement go through, showing our special education balance of $3.14 million. That's a bit higher than it was in the previous year. It just is the case of how special education funding goes. We continue to educate those students with needs, and the funding just isn't there from the state as far as our level students. Both those reports were submitted in a timely manner. The certified annual report, we were ready to submit in a final manner. It didn't get done in a final manner. We found last minute, excuse me. We worked with the state for the last few indicators that we have, and I was unable to find a variance within our fund balance in the general fund of about $364,000. Rather than pushing the button, knowing that amount was wrong, I declined to push the button. We found the error, worked with the state, and we submitted, but it was not timely. And I need to share that with you. We'll work with the state. I don't know. I haven't heard anything from the state yet in regards to what happens now. But more of that will be shared once I know more from that. That is my report quickly. We'll have the year-end report to you at the second meeting in October and show the district finances, how they ended 6/30/24. At this point, I'm willing to take any sort of questions you might have.
Sounds like you're off the hook.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, 3C enrollment update.
Again, I'm going to try to be brief. Mostly because we've been through these, these particular numbers, although they've changed just a little bit. We've been through this a number of different times. But obviously, as you can see, these numbers come from today, so there's about as fresh as they can get. We're noticing that the movement of students in and so on and so forth is noticeably slowing, which is good. We're starting to get toward numbers that are arguably way more accurate, because we're getting reports from other schools when kids have moved and we're getting a feel for who's here and who's chosen to go to school somewhere else. We continue to show growth. We are at plus 92 students compared to last year. Elementary class sizes look good. We're getting a few fewer classes that are full, or at least what we're considering full at this point. The average class size in our elementary schools continues to hang at 22, which is a great number. And then the last bit of information I want to share is kind of a reminder that early October is certified count day, and obviously certified count determines our budget. And when those results do come back from the state, it's kind of a wait and see proposition. No guarantees, could be fast, could take a while, just depending upon what's happening in the Department of Ed. Any questions for me about enrollment? I'm ecstatic about our enrollment. I think this looks great.
Looking back at the projected, like the monitor projection, looks like when if it holds at this, we would be like a year ahead of what that shows. So
Yeah. There's a little bit. Yeah, we can go into that as we get to certified enrollment, a little deeper into it.
there's some adjustments there.
Yeah, right.
But still strong growth.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
All right, 3D professional learning update.
Good evening, board. Good evening. It's District Professional Development Eve. We have our District Professional Development tomorrow and wanted to share with you some information about that as well as our overall PD plan here at Southeast Polk. Oops. So again, we think one of our best assets here at Southeast Polk are our teaching force that we have. And so we invest in professional learning to continue the learning, continue to get better every day at what we do. And so we do work with a PD steering committee that is representative of teachers, administrators, curriculum team members to look ahead, look at our goals and match the learning to what our desired goals are. And so in August, we had a district PD day and we were doing a hybrid model with solution tree. And so we were looking at a promise of equity, purpose, and practice, underscoring that vision and goal of ours that high levels of learning for all of our students here at Southeast Polk. So we kicked that off in August. And tomorrow, we are very, very fortunate to have Chris Nickich and his dad, Nick Nickich, here in our district to talk about their experiences and their efforts to overcome challenges to meet their goals. So I have a 2-minute video clip for you to learn a little bit more about them.
Because we're not, I'm not, I can make a difference. I expect is to fight through pain. I overcame, fight over life. I overcame, having 4 constructive surveys. I overcame those. And from that day on, I knew that something is still going to happen. I overcame fear. I overcame anxiety. From doing right there, the pain of the dream. And that's my dream. I've been training hard. This concept is stands for says fit at the Crusoe and then consider and squat. But I'm in photo to often hard work, ethic, dedication, determination, use positive thoughts. Start working out today and remember, get represented every day. Start small. Stay active. Be happy. This will change your life. This has changed me in my life. Push yourself. Keep going.
Chris is a 2-time ESPY Award winner and the only person with Down syndrome to complete an Ironman competition. Since then, he has completed 6 global marathons with an incredible list of accomplishments and achievements. His dad has since started a foundation so that other students with learning challenges can set goals and they can work together to meet their goals. They go by the motto, 1% better, just to do something better each day in order to improve yourself and to work towards your goal. We've gotten a few phone calls from people to see if they can join us tomorrow. There's a young man with Down syndrome in our area who is now training in the Nickich plan and asked if he could come tomorrow and meet them. And we said, absolutely. So we're looking forward to the day. He's a very inspiring young man. His dad is very dedicated on, as a parent, setting high expectations for your child and being right there with them to meet those expectations. So we are very much looking forward to the day.
Mind to thank them for changing their date too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I will let them, I will remind them of that again tomorrow. Yeah, they did. They were very accommodating with that. So again, they will be with us tomorrow. And as we think about our own goals to meet the needs of all of our students here at Southeast Polk, they will offer a lot of insights and inspiration to do just that. As we look ahead, again, we align our professional development to our district goals. And we've gone over those before, and we will continue to highlight what those goals are. We also use those organizing principles in the middle, which are the research base underneath Iowa professional development model. So making sure that it's always ongoing, looking at our data, implementing our learning, seeing the impact of that learning, making adjustments, and continuing from there. And from that, we create a staff development calendar. And we know, it says every Wednesday. Well, those Wednesdays get eaten up very, very quickly because of the teacher's commitment to ongoing learning and always seeing the value of that. So we designate different days for different types of learning to make sure that it continues to be a comprehensive plan and that as many needs for learning can get met during that time. Any questions about tomorrow's PD or our overall professional development plan?
I think tomorrow's PD is excellent. Thank you for doing it. It's exciting.
It is very exciting. Yeah. It's hard not to get caught up in Chris's excitement about what he does.
And hopefully all be inspired.
Yes, very much so.
Work on 1% improvement.
Every day, 1%. In the video he has tomorrow, the first day he did 1 squat. And then he worked from there. I'm like, yeah, I can relate to that. So start small and add to that each and every day. Yeah,
Are you doing the next one too?
Yeah.
I am.
Okay.
So I'm just going to transition now to the early literacy law that went into effect this year. Last time I was here, I talked about the attendance legislation and the impact and the actions that we were taking. Tonight, I'm here to talk about the early literacy law. And so that requires that we have teaching plans for students in grades K through 6 who are not reading at grade level. So about 9 years ago, when Chapter 62 was put into place, that required that we had reading plans for all students in grades K through 3 who were not reading at grade level. And at that time at Southeast Polk, we decided we would go beyond that law and we began creating plans for students in grades K through 5. So with this new law, we will be extending that to grade 6. We had done the assessments and the interventions and the progress monitoring, but did not have what I would say formal plans in place. There were more informal plans in place. And so we will be scaling up this model to now include 6th grade as well. The other part of this particular law is that parents or guardians have the option to retain their child if they are not reading at grade level by the end of the year in grades K through 6. So we will share this information with parents when they come to our fall conferences. And then we always send out end of the year communication with their final reading scores. And with students who meet that designation, we will include information on their option to retain their child if they so choose. So those are the 2 most significant changes that will impact us here at Southeast Polk. Otherwise, we will continue with the plan that we have had in place for the last several years.
Question, thank you for having a great plan. On the progress monitoring
Mhm.
part, just curious, is it timed? Is it based on comprehension? Is there anything you can say about progress monitoring?
So yes, it depends. So at the younger grades, if they did not meet benchmark in the CBM fluency, then it is a timed assessment and it's progress monitored every 2 weeks. Then if it moves into more of the comprehension realm, then we have some interventions in a reading. Those aren't timed, but we still look at those every 2 weeks.
So if the progress monitoring lowers, you increase the activity or you increase the support?
Yes, we would look at both of those. We'll look at those maybe through a month of interventions and we can get graphs with the trend line. And if we don't see that trend line going in the direction that we want, we will either increase the intensity of the support or perhaps look that maybe we didn't have the right match of the intervention to the need. So we don't just want to swap out interventions all the time, but after 4 weeks, if we're not seeing movement in a different direction, then we will look at additional interventions.
Thank you.
At the special education level, they progress monitor at the grade level that they are reading at their instructional level. And then once a month, we do progress monitoring at their grade level so that we can keep an eye on their progress, but always keep an eye on where we want them to be eventually.
I'm glad to hear that.
this isn't a huge addition to what we've already been doing and that we've been ahead of the curve for that. I'm not sure. I sent a couple questions and I was looking for them on my phone here, but, I just am wondering how much additional work this will be, out of concern for the impact of other legislation
Sure.
that has occurred and,
Yeah.
That our attention is, it's productive in the intent. But, I'm just wondering how much more demand on our instructors and administration's time this will.
Yeah, and that's a great question. Over the past 9 years, we have worked on that system, which includes putting our data into an online system. We can put the interventions in there so we can track which interventions are having the most progress. And that took us a while to get into place. We also then, with that, beefed up our reading specialists at each building so that we had people who were designated to provide the support. So we have one reading specialist at our smaller buildings and then 2 to 3 at our larger buildings. And then some have additional Title I support as well. At the 6th grade center with 550 students, we have 1 reading specialist. So again, I think where we're trying to figure out how to manage those additional duties will be at the 6th grade center, where we don't have the same level of support that we do at elementary. So on one hand, we'll want to look at that support for the future to make sure that we're reaching the letter of the law. On the other hand, we want to really invest our time at elementary so that not so many students are needed at 6th grade. That's our hope for the future. But I will say that that is something we'll have to examine in how we provide support is at the 6th grade level.
Is the notice to parents new? I assume a lot of this is already communicated in parent-teacher conferences. Is this a mailed notice or is there a new form of notice required?
Again, it's the same form. It was required for K3. We've always done it K5. And we just do it once a year at conference time for all students. But for students who don't meet benchmark 2 times in a row, then we send out an individualized letter with what that plan looks like and what we're doing.
We're already in that.
Yes. Mhm. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. What will remain to be seen, and I can't make any predictions on that, would be how parents respond to the opportunity to retain at the end of the year. And we are very aware of the research on retention, and it's something that we use very deliberately and intentionally. But I will say anytime a parent has been concerned and brought that forward to us, we've always had good collaborative conversations. So I don't know yet what that new law, what impact it will have, and that will have impact for future years. So that will remain to be seen.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
3F, activities update.
Good evening. Just been a little bit since we've actually, I think I've been here to do any sort of update. So obviously we're well underway with fall activities. I put some numbers in there just so you all can see how many participants we have in some of our athletic and our fine arts groups that are going on right now. Just some things I think that I want to keep you up to speed on, as I'm sure most of you are aware with the situation with the pool. I don't know if all of you haven't had an opportunity to actually see the pool lately. It's pretty incredible. When I went in there, I just couldn't believe it. I'd first heard from our head girls coach, who was just ecstatic and wanted me to let everyone know how happy she and the girls were with the pool. And when I went in there, I just couldn't believe how nice it looked. And so, we've had several meets in there, and we're fortunate to have a pool. It's less and less common to do that, but that was a huge upgrade for us. So thank you for that. Dr. Alevnik already told you the next thing big thing on the horizon for us is homecoming. So it'll be a full slate of activities next week, It's an incredibly exciting time for our kids and in our community, and one of my favorite weeks throughout the school year that I get to be a part of. Just some things you may or may not know about as we replaced our office and the activities officer, administrative assistant, Ashley Allen, went to student teach and now has entered the teaching field. We've hired Krista Girth, and those of you who have had the opportunity to work with Krista, she's really done an incredible job. We're very fortunate to have her and the skills that she has. Just really been a great transition for us and fantastic employee. The other one that has just occurred is if you all have had students, athletes go through, Nicole Weaver was our athletic trainer, and Nicole left to go to a different career opportunity here a few weeks ago, and we just were able to hire a new trainer. So that's kind of the nature of that job a little bit. There's turnover there, but really grateful to Athletico for being able to turn that around pretty quickly. So we never had any significant gap in there, but we're happy about the situation with our trainers right now. It's just something you may hear from people. Just wanted to let you know that Athletico did replace that trainer within 2 weeks. So we're sitting pretty good there. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
Are all of the sports up, or is there any that are down?
I would say, you know, those are fairly typical, except for maybe, maybe girls cross country is a little bit down at the moment. We've got a really high number of young kids there, but that's probably a little down. Football is, that's a big number for high school football. That's probably in part a reflection of, a lot of people want to be attached to a successful program. So, but that's a great number there. So.
Well, marching band, are those numbers have they been pretty even?
I think those have stabilized a little bit. Maybe when I first got here it was a little bit higher than that, maybe, but I think that number's been pretty stable.
I noticed in the middle school grand opening that the wrestling mats are there. They're not installed yet. You know when those will be installed?
Yeah, so
Junior high too.
it's a good question. So what is in there right now is actually the underlayment.
Oh,
So those mats, are the last time we checked with the manufacturer, they have a backlog. And I don't think that the new mats that we ordered are going to be here in time necessarily to get them in for the season. But at the junior high, what we have the availability to do is we have the, what do they call those? The more portable mats that we use for meets that we can put down in there over the underlayment and still be able to have practice. Unfortunately, at the junior high, as it is right now, those are the mats we have there until the new ones come in. I can get you the exact date. I know we checked with the Resolite, the manufacturer, here maybe a month ago, and they had a backlog and we're running behind on that.
so I believe the practice plan was going to be that the girls are going to be up in junior high.
That's right.
Because junior high wrestlers are going to be, boys were going to be over at middle school. So is that going to shift because we won't have mats everywhere?
Well, there's still mats everywhere. We just don't have the new mats in everywhere. So I
I'm
haven't.
saying that the ones that we use for meets, but at middle school temporarily.
Yeah, we have enough of, gosh, I don't know why it escapes me the name of those right now. We've got a plethora of those mats. If you've ever been down that east hallway at the gym, it's just lined with those mats. And so we feel like we have enough. I do think there's the potential in talking to Darren to have junior high meets at the middle school, I think. But outside of that, was that the question? Were they going to be able to have practice?
Right, where, because the practice schedule that you had laid out before was going to be the high school boys would be at the high school, the high school and
Right.
high girls at the junior high.
Right.
And then junior high boys, middle school. So we'll have mats everywhere. We just won't have the new mats.
Correct. That's right.
that's a backlog issue with the manufacturer.
That's the backlog issue with Resolite right now. Correct. As soon as they get in, we'll try to get them in there. If you've ever, I've been a part of a couple of those. It's quite a process, even when you get mats to get them in there. They come with a, Joe could probably explain better than I do, but they shrink and they have to cure and they're covered in this powder and you gotta clean it all off. It'll be a little bit of a process, but we'll get them in there as soon as we can.
Anything else for Campbell?
Thank you for the update.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have fun next week.
Anything else for the good of the cause?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
Second.
Second.